Questions for oral answer today. Would some honourable member care to move that the House take note of miscellaneous business? The Honourable Jerry Brownlee.
Mr Speaker, tomorrow the Honourable Bill English will deliver his fourth budget, confirming that the National Government has a strong economic plan in very difficult international circumstances. Mr Speaker, every night when New Zealanders turn on their television sets, each day when they pick up their newspapers, they see what's happening in Europe, they see what's happening in the United States, they see the G8 countries coming together, terribly worried about the situation economically throughout the world. They know that there is a problem out there. They know that they have to have a government cognizant of that, with a plan to insulate New Zealand as much as possible against its worst effects. The only people in the country who don't seem to know that are the people who sit on what the Prime Minister has described as planet Labour. The people in total denial about the circumstances that exist within the world and the opportunities that we must avail ourselves of if we are to get through difficult times. Mr Speaker, we have on the other side of the House 3 books being put in front of us, 3 prescriptions for the economy from the 3 Davids, one from David Parker, one from David Cunliffe and one from David Shearer. 3 books, but no single gospel about what we might follow as a prescription going forward. David Parker wants to agree with Bill English about what to do. David Cunliffe wants to be a right-wing politician, but has decided his best chances are to head to the left. And David Shearer simply doesn't know what to do until Grant Robertson tells him which way he should make a choice. Mr Speaker, there is no basis for anyone to attack, for any party to attack a budget the likes of which Bill English will deliver tomorrow in the best interests of New Zealand. So what do we hear from Labor? Firstly, on the revenue side, it's constantly, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Nothing that has been proposed by this government to increase revenue in this country has been supported by Labor. Not one thing. In 3.5 years, I challenge anyone on that side to stand up today and lift their finger and say one thing they've supported that will increase revenue in this country. There isn't any, not one. But instead, we get this, we want to spend more. We want to spend more on some dopey things like Radio New Zealand. We want to spend more on Kiwi Rail. We want to spend more on the state services. We want to spend more on legal aid. We want to spend more on absolutely everything. And any idea that we might look to try and get better value for services, better value for the money that the taxpayer spends, it's a no to that as well. Mr Speaker, the worst denial from Labor is the denial of the huge economic impact of one of the worst disasters in the world in 2010-11, the Christchurch earthquake. And it gives me no pleasure to see Labor members constantly carping about the way things are being done down there, denying the fact that there are hard times, difficult times and tough decisions that have to be made. If one were to extrapolate, sir, the earthquake event, there would be effectively 5 earthquakes over 3 on the Richter scale every day since the 4th of September. That's what people are dealing with down there. What they need, sir, is some certainty about how recovery is going to be carried out. And Mr Speaker, David Parker today stood up in the House and seemed to think that everything was okay because Canterbury had strong economic growth, stronger economic growth than the rest of the country. Well, sir, off the base that we're working off there, that is great news, but it is certainly not an indication that all is well down there for residents in that part of the world. I think, sir, what Labor are doing is denying the huge commitment that everybody down there, in their workplace, in their homes, in their community groups, have made to recovery. Sir, it is good news that we are getting that economic growth. 15,000 homes down there repaired under the UQC scheme so far. $3.1 billion paid out in insurance payments by EQC. 80% of unsafe buildings taken down. And now, sir, a clear march towards a CBD plan that will see that part of the city redeveloped in a way that makes it quite a unique place in New Zealand, if not in the South Pacific. Tomorrow, the government will reaffirm its commitments to Christchurch in the budget, and I welcome that. And I'd say to Labor members, stop pointing out everything that is annoying to them as people on a planet where they have no idea of what's going on, and get on the program and start supporting a bigger recovery for Canterbury.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
David Shearer.
Mr. Speaker, I actually find that objectionable, that reference